Hello there, it's Anna from Scrapalicious.com, and I have a set of cards to share with you today. This stamp set that I'm using here is called Birthday Friends and is from Pretty Pink Posh. And I just love these cute little images. They're just too stinking adorable. And I used my Misty to stamp these with Memento Tuxedo black ink. And then I'm just colouring these images, just using a basic 2 or 3 colour markers for each and every part. So nothing too difficult or fancy in any way, just simple colouring. And you saw the little notebook I had next to my stamps in the beginning. That is where I write down the colour combos for each and every card that I make. I do have my go-to combos for skin, hair, and also my favorite blues and greens and such. And here I wanted to make sure that I have different kinds of skin combos or skin colors really. So I was just trying to figure out what I could use depending on the markers that I have, because, well, my collection is, well, I think it's huge, but it's only, I think, a quarter, 1/3 of all the Copics out there. So I am, well, in a way, limited to create new color combos, but these actually do work for me. I'm just making sure to break out the norm and do some skin and hair colors that I'm not used to doing. I mean, we usually do the same thing over and over again because, well, it is easy to do something that you know works and you don't have to think as much about it. But I really did 3 different kind of skin combos, and I'll have all my color combos listed over on my blog. So if you're interested, you can of course look these up and give them a go yourself. But I did use some of my go-tos, and then 1 or 2 combos I used that I found by using the Human Rainbow that Sandy Olnock came out with different kinds of skin colors. So I highly recommend you go to her website and check that one out, because it's really handy to have. Like I said, my coloring is quite simple, so I'm not going to bore you with all those coloring details, so let's just say that this is quite enough. Now these cards are quite clean and simple, and I already cut out the background pieces using a Spellbinder die, which I really like. I love this die. And I just used Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, but for the card base itself it's the 110 version of the same cardstock. And I will be using a ginormous amount of foam tape, because I really like to have that background popped up a bit. Since these cards are quite clean and simple, I do like to add dimension and sparkliness and all other things to the mix really. And well, I do love dimension, simple dimension really. It's always nice to have. And this huge roll comes in really handy. I think I go, well, 2 or 3 rolls will last me the year, at least for my current rate of crafting, I guess. And now that I have backed the background piece with foam tape, I thought I would add sentiment. Now bear in mind, you should really stamp the sentiment before you add the foam tape. It can completely ruin your card, but I was lucky it was alright, so phew. But FYI, stamp before you add the foam tape. And I'm just adding this little fellow and finding the perfect little embellishments for him and the extra stuff here and there that fit his the color scheme really. and I'm just sticking this here and there, and I'm using Nuvo adhesive for those smaller bits, and then the ones that I want to be popped up a little bit, I'm using that same foam tape as I used on the background. I'm just cutting these to the smallest size possible that I need for each and every little bit, and just having fun creating cute little scenes using these adorable stamps. These are absolutely, oh, they're so stinking cute. Just love them. And I'm using my Tim Holtz pokey tool to peel the backing off the foam tape, and that really makes things go a bit faster than using my nails, really. And I want to make that balloon look like it was a bit more dimensional than just flat on the background. So I decided to add foam tape to the balloon part itself, and then liquid adhesive to the string that the boy is holding. Now, just to make sure that the boy isn't floating in mid-air, I added a bit of shadow beneath himself and the package, just using 2 shades of Copic markers. I used the C0 and then C1 for that one. And now it's time for the sentiment stamping part, and sorry for my head being in the way. And it actually worked out fine. I'm actually quite relieved because I was really expecting things to go, well, the worst way possible. But woohoo! It worked! So that is the first image for the card done. And now it's for the next one, where I'm using a girl and a boy for this background. And I had these grouped already, and I decided, well, these do not match perfectly as I had in my head, so I decided to go and pick another section. So I wanted to pick these 2 boys and a cake, and then, well, I'm just trying to make sure that these colors are similar, nothing is too off or something. And as you can see, I'm changing my mind frequently, which is alright, because I mean, I have all these images colored up and I can use them for other cards anyway, so I'm not losing anything. So I'm just trying to figure out if it's too much, too little, and just having fun, really. It's like creating your own coloring book in a way. So there he is already, and then it's for the 3rd card, or the image for the 3rd card. And as I mentioned before, I'm just trying to figure out things that work the best together and colors that actually match, and so on and so forth. And these stamps are really fun to use, and I did use the coordinating die to die cut all these, and that really saves time, so no fussy cutting needed, which is always nice when you're creating a bunch of cards, really. And as usual, I use a lot of foam tape to make these images pop and look pretty. And I'm just placing these here and there so they look their best. And I really like that cake. It looks oh so delish. And that's going to be like in the background, and therefore I'm just using liquid tape and no foam tape to stick that down. And again, adding shadows with those same Copic markers, colors as I used before. And I have this pretty little girl, and I decided to use just the girl and have loads of extra stuff on there. There's this stamp that really gives you a variety of possibilities. I mean, they're actually endless, really. So you should be able to create a card that fits anyone, really. Boy, girl, girls, boys, friends, whatever. You should all be able to find the image that works for anyone. And now I wanted to add some sparkliness to the card as well. So I cut these different colors or different parts of glitter paper. I had this pink one and the green and bluish ones. And I'm just sticking that background I had already created and centering it on the glitter cardstock. And that is basically the card. Then just have to be adhered to the card base itself. And I'm so sorry that these are not completely focused. I just had no idea that my camera was playing up like that. So I'm really sorry about that. I added some sparkliness to some of the images and then covered many of them using Nuvo Glaze. Especially the balloons, because then they look more, well, balloonish, I guess. I really like the end result with that sparkliness and that shininess on top of it. It just adds so much to these clean and simple cards. And then of course, because I can never have too much glitter or anything that sparkles, I added these gorgeous jewels by Pretty Pink Posh here and there, just for added sparkliness and, well, fabness. I have a hard time minimizing my glitter and sparkliness when it comes to my card making. I just love them to bits, and these white ones are so pretty. They're not too overwhelming, but they do add such a pretty color or sparkliness of a color to any card. Just love them. And I will have links to everything I used below this video and also on my blog. On my blog you can see, well, the links, you can see images of everything I use, so it might be easier if you were looking for a certain thing, but of course you can find the links to all these products on both platforms, the YouTube and my blog. And that is really nearing the end of this video. And as I said before, I will have links to everything I used down below the video and on my blog. And I will also add a few still shots of these cards so you can view them in a bit more detailed and all in focus. So here we have all these 4 ready. And ready to be mailed, really. Now, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.